Good morning, everyone. What's up? Welcome to the FAA podcast morning edition. Hope you got your coffee. I don't drink coffee, so
Nah, me neither.
I got agua though. It's fine. A lot went down this weekend. College football wasn't as crazy. Um, Once again, the top people won, and NFL though. NFL continues to just stir the pot. uh, Especially in the AFC wild card race is just crazy right now. Mostly every team is still in the AFC wild card picture, like within 2 games ish. So it's getting crazy in the NFL playoff heating up. Um, but yeah, start off with Friday. We had UTSA continuing Uh, their winning streak. I don't know exactly how many games, but I do know they are still undefeated in AAC play, 49-21 over USF. And got a big game this weekend for UTSA. Winner goes to the AAC championship game. Loser is needs an SMU loss um, to get into the championship game. But Frank Harris was just electric in this one, as he has been his whole career for the Roadrunners. 31 of 46, 67.4%, 411 yards, 3 touchdowns, 10 carries, 112 yards on the ground, and 3 rushing touchdowns. So, yeah, 523 total yards and 6 touchdowns. That'll do it, I think. Byron Brown for the Bulls in this one, 23 of 39, 59%, 287, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 13 carries, 43 yards, and a rushing score as well. Leading the game in rushing outside of Harris, USF's Naquan Wright, 16 carries, 67 yards, and a score. Big night for UTSA wide receiver Joshua Cephas, 9 catches, 163 yards, a touchdown, and double-digit receptions there for USF wide receiver Sean Atkins, 10 catches, 92 yards. Defensively, I'm going to go with USF linebacker DJ Gordon, the fourth, 8 tackles, 5 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and a pass deflection. UTSA minus 14.5 covers over 65.5. Saturday, number 3 Michigan stays undefeated, 31-24 over Maryland. And once again, though, the team had them. I mean, like Maryland had Michigan. They were close all game. As you saw, Maryland got it to a 1-score game at the end. But yeah, I mean, I think this sets up the game this weekend. And I think it's a bigger deal for Michigan than it is Ohio State, based off of how these two teams have played this season. I mean, we'll talk about that more on Friday, but yeah.
Yeah, especially the last 2 weeks. I mean, you kind of look how Ohio State played the last 2 weeks in Michigan, and Michigan just kind of leaves a lot of things in the air. Like McCarthy isn't a dominant QB that you could put the game into his hands, in my opinion. I mean, this game, one thing that really worked for them was their punter just being able to punt Maryland deep into their own territory in the second half. And I mean, if even one of those ends up a touchback, Maryland could get something going, you know. So Michigan has a lot to figure out going into the game.
Yeah, Maryland helped by 3 Tagovailoa turnovers there, and Tagovailoa safety that absolutely terrible. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. Like, you got to fire the ball as far as you can over your receiver's head to make it not a safety. So
yeah, you really got to throw it.
he just short armed it. Anyways, Talia Tagovailoa, 21 of 31, 67.7%, 247, 2 picks, 1 fumble. JJ McCarthy, 12 of 23, 52.2%, 141, 1 pick. Blake Corum, another good day for him, 28 carries, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 9-yard reception. How about Maryland backup quarterback Billy Edwards Jr.? He's their goal line guy, 11 carries, 35 yards, or 4 carries, 3 yards, 3 touchdowns on the day for Edwards.
Jerome Bettis stat line.
Yeah. Maryland wide receiver Caden Prather, the West Virginia transfer. He led the game in receiving, 3 catches, 81 yards. And defensively, I'm going to go with the guy that scored touchdown, Michigan defensive end Derek Moore. 2 tackles, 1 solo, 4-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Maryland plus 17.5 covers easily, over 50.5. Number 8, Alabama, 66-10 over Chattanooga. Yeah. Expected, but the stats really weren't that good for Jalen Milroe. I mean, at least the yards anyways. 13 of 16, 81.3%, 197, 3 touchdowns. You had Ty Simpson come in the game, 4 of 6, 66.7%, 50 yards, and a 78-yard carry for Ty Simpson. For UTC, it was Luke Schoenberg the whole game, 10 of 21, 47.6%, 107, 1 pick. Good day, though. One thing that the mocks can take out of this one, running back Gino Appleberry, he had over 100 yards on the ground, 22 carries, 104 yards, a touchdown, and a 6-yard reception. It's pretty good to do against the Alabama defense. Leading the game, or actually 2 touchdown day for Alabama running back Justice Haynes, 5 carries, 42 yards, 2 scores. Leading the game in receiving, a 100-yard day for Alabama wide receiver Jermaine Burton, 3 catches, 105, and a touchdown. And then defensive player of the game has to go to just this kid's having a crazy year. True freshman defensive back Caleb Downs, 7 tackles, 2 solos, 1 pass deflection, 85-yard punt return touchdown. This kid has like I don't know exact stats, but he has like 3 picks, 2 fumble recoveries, like 11 pass deflections or something like that, and then he has a punt return touchdown. Like he's having a crazy season. He's a true freshman.
That's insane. He's gonna look real good in Viking purple in 2 years.
Yeah, 2026 draft.
Put him on my top of my 2026 draft board. Number 1.
Alabama did cover minus 44.5. Over 54.5 by themselves. Number 10, Louisville, 38-31, squeaker over Miami in Miami. Tyler Van Dyke for the Canes, 24 of 39, 61.5%, 327, 1 touchdown. But Louisville, the difference was Jack Plummer, 24 of 37, 64.9%, 308, 3 touchdowns, a pick, 5 carries, 11 yards through the game-winning, I think it was like 58-yard touchdown or something like that. With I think there was like 4 or 5 minutes to go in the game. So yeah. Once again, though, it looks bad for Tyler Van Dyke going to the next level because he's had 2 back-to-back weeks. Now, last week, obviously, he came in when Emory Williams got hurt. But this week, once again, he had a chance to either tie or win the game, and he didn't get it done at the end. So, granted, his Hail Mary did fall just like 5 yards short. After Xavier Restrepo caught it and was trying to run and couldn't get there. Miami running back Mark Fletcher Jr., good day for him, 17 carries, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 25-yard reception. Louisville quarterback Evan Conley with a 5-yard touchdown rush as well. Miami wide receiver Xavier Restrepo, I mentioned him. Just a massive day. 8 receptions, 193 yards, touchdown. He is an excellent receiver. I don't remember his let me see what his stats are here. I thought he was going to be down here. Maybe he's up at the top. Yeah, I don't know where he is. Restrepo. Oh, there we go. 5'10", 198. So, yeah, nice slot receiver. Excellent slot receiver, I should say. Vikings need a slot.
I think we're good at the wide receiver position at this time.
Let's see what else we got. The defensive player of the game, I am going to go with Louisville defensive lineman Mason Rieger. 3 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for loss. He had an excellent game. He had, even though it wasn't a lot of stats, but excellent game by Rieger there. He was everywhere. And also, forgot to mention, offensive lineman Trevante Sylvester for the Cardinals catching a 1-yard touchdown, big man touchdown. Love to see it. Louisville plus 1.5. They went outright over 46.5. 79 or 69. Number 12, Penn State, 27-6 romp over the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Gavin Wimsatt for Rutgers, 10 of 16, 62.5%, 131 pick, 17 carries, 31 yards, 2 fumbles. Once again, Penn State doing a good job on defense, getting turnovers. Drew Aller got injured in this game, 6 of 13, 46.2%, 79 yards, 3 carries for 28 yards. It's just a stupid play that he got injured on. Like, bro, get down. I don't care if you're 6'4", 250, like, or 240. Get down. He went in with his throwing shoulder, too. Like,
Ooh, yeah, don't do that.
It's no surprise that he got injured. Our guy, Danny Potter. We're not talking about the Badgers today, Danny, but they are bowling. This is true. They were lucky to bowl because they won in overtime over Nebraska this week. But anyways, Bo Pribula, I like this kid. He's good. He's fast, very fast. And I know they mentioned on the broadcast watching this game, he reminds you of what Penn State has had in the past. A Trace McSorley type. And the crazy thing is he also wears number 9, just like Trace McSorley did. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, this kid's tough. Completed his only pass for 9 yards, 8 carries, 71 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Excellent runner. Probably just needs to improve the passing game. But Drew Aller, kind of taking a thing off of our college football news already, but Drew Aller is going to play or expects to play this week against Michigan State, trying to get Penn State to a double-digit win season once again and to a New Year's Six bowl game. Penn State running back Katron Allen leading the game in rushing outside of Pribula, 16 carries, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 6-yard catch. Leading the game in receiving, Rutgers wide receiver Isaiah Washington, 5 catches, 55 yards. And defensively, Penn State defensive end Chop Robinson, 5 tackles, all of them solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Excellent game for Chop. Having a good season. There's another person the Vikings could get when they don't re-sign Danielle Hunter.
Hey, well, shut your mouth. Viking for life. Woo! I'm delusional.
Penn State covers minus 19.5, under 39.5. Number 13, Ole Miss, 35-3 over UL Monroe. And this one was interesting. Ole Miss, they had some trouble early. It was like 7-3. I think it was 7-0 after the first quarter or something like that. And then it was like 7-3 for a bit, and then Ole Miss finally picked it up. But yeah, in the early going, it wasn't very great. Jackson Dart did return for this game after getting knocked out of the Georgia game. 24 of 31, 77.4%, 310, 3 touchdowns. It's a pretty good return effort there for Dart. Spencer Sanders then came in 4 of 5, 80%, 61 yards, a touchdown, and an 11-yard carry. UL Monroe played 2 quarterbacks. Jaya Wright, 7 of 19, 36.8%, 56 yards, a pick, 11 carries for 19 yards. And then Brian Garcia, 1 of 3, 33.3% for 10 yards. ULM running back Hunter Smith leading the game in rushing, 17 carries, 74 yards. Ole Miss wide receiver Dayton Wade, 100-yard game for him, 7 catches, 108 yards, a touchdown. Bunch of other guys scoring as well. And my defensive player of the game is going to ULM defensive end Kennard Snyder. 5 tackles, all of them solos, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss. UL Monroe plus 35.5 covers, under 59.5 easily. Number 14, Oklahoma, 31-24, close one in Provo, Utah over BYU. Dylan Gabriel injured in this game, ankle injury, 13 of 21, 61.9%, 191, 2 touchdowns. But it's okay because they have a 5-star freshman behind him. Sucks for them, though. Oklahoma, it is. Really did not want to play Jackson Arnold. Had to burn his red shirt in this game because this was his 5th game played this season. So he can no longer redshirt this year, as was the plan. So, got to live with it, though. Got to win the game. Jackson Arnold, though, 5 of 9, 55.6%, 33 yards, 8 carries for 24 yards. Pretty solid effort by the freshman. Jake Retzlaff for the Cougars, 15 of 26, 57.7%, 173, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 13 carries, 29 yards, a touchdown, and 2 fumbles there. So turnovers abound for the BYU quarterback. BYU running back Aiden Robbins ran wild. The UNLV transfer, 22 carries, 182 yards on the ground. Gavin Salchuk for the Sooners, also over 100, 14 carries, 107 yards, a touchdown, 2 catches for 1 yard. BYU wide receiver Cody Epps with the leading in receptions, receiving yards, 6 catches, 90 yards. And defensively, I had to go with the guy that had the touchdown. Oklahoma defensive back Billy Bowman Jr., 9 tackles, 7 solos, 1 tackle for loss, and a 100-yard pick 6. That was a key play in the game, leading to the Sooners' victory. BYU plus 24.5 covers easily, under 58.5. Number 24, Tulane, 24-8 over FAU. So we wondered if they were going to mess around again, and they didn't necessarily mess around. They led 24-0 before giving up the late score and 2-point conversion to the Owls. But so it was a better game than we've seen the last 2 weeks from the Green Wave. I can say that for sure.
Definitely.
We'll see how far they go up in the CFP rankings this week with a bunch of losses to teams in the teens and the 20s. But anyways, Tulane quarterback Michael Pratt, 21 of 28, 75%, 252, 3 touchdowns, and a fumble. And by the way, Michael Pratt, I think I said this already last show, but if I did, just reiterating, not going to transfer like we originally thought. He has accepted his invite to the Senior Bowl. He will be in Mobile and go into the draft this year. FAU quarterback Daniel Richardson, 24 of 31, 77.4%, 202, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Tulane running back Mekhi Hughes, 21 carries, 72 yards, 2 catches for 9 yards, leading the game in rushing. Over 100 yards for Tulane wide receiver Chris Brazel II, 7 catches, 103 yards, and a touchdown. 2-touchdown day for Tulane tight end Chris Carter, 3 catches, 26 yards, 2 scores. And defensively, I'm going with Tulane defensive lineman Darius Hodges, 2 tackles, both of them solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. Tulane minus 9.5 covers under 46.5. This was another big one in the AAC this week. SMU 38-34 over Memphis. This was your lone wolf.
Close.
The Tigers did not get it done for you. This was your only lone wolf this week. I didn't have any. Logan had 5. And by the way, Miami was the first of his 5, so he lost the first one.
I do remember that.
But yeah, this game was crazy, back and forth a lot. Seth Hennigan for the Tigers, 35 of 51, 68.6%, 402, 2 touchdowns, 7 carries for 13 yards. I said Preston Stone is why I picked the Mustangs in this game, and he wasn't overly statistical, but he did enough and got the key throws and the key situations that he needed. 15 to 23, 65.2%, 286, 2 touchdowns, 8 carries for 10 yards, and a rushing score. SMU running back LJ Johnson Jr. over 100, 21 carries, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Leading the game in receiving, 200-yard receivers for the Tigers. Memphis wide receiver Rock Taylor, 8 catches, 146 yards. And then Memphis wide receiver Demir Blankumsey, 9 catches, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a fumble. Defensively, I got to go with SMU corner Charles Wood, 6 tackles, 4 solos, and 4 pass deflections. Memphis plus 9.5 covers over 64.5, 72 in that one. Liberty, the Flames are 11-0 in one game from being undefeated in the regular season, 49-25 over UMass. Are they finally going to get ranked tonight? Are they?
I mean, I see no reason why they shouldn't be.
Yeah, especially with JMU losing, as we'll get to. The last group of 5 team to be undefeated is Liberty now. So for UMass quarterback Tyson Fomachan, 22 of 38, 57.9%, 239, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Ahmad Haston also played for UMass, 3 of 3, 100%, 54 yards and a touchdown. Caden Salter for Liberty, excellent game, especially on the ground. 11 of 16 through the air, 68.8%, 225, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 13 carries, 118 yards rushing on the 2 touchdowns and a fumble. The other 2 quarterbacks did not fare well for Liberty. Trey Lowe, the Southern Miss transfer, 0 for 3 passing, 3 carries for 10 yards, and then their third quarterback, Zach Burnett, 0 for 3 passing as well. Liberty running back Quentin Cooley, also like his quarterback, over 100 rushing yards in this game, 8 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown, 12.8 yards per carry. I think that's pretty solid. UMass wide receiver Mark Pope, the Miami transfer, he led the game in receiving, 6 catches, 90 yards. 2 touchdown day for his teammate tight end Gino Campiati, 5 catches, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Liberty tight end Austin Henderson, also 2 scores, 3 catches, 25 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, got to go with the pick 6 guy, Liberty defensive back Preston Hodge, 2 tackles, both of them solos, 1 pass deflection, 62-yard pick 6. UMass covered plus 26.5, over 64.5, 74 in that game. Like I mentioned, down goes JMU. App State 26-23 overtime victory over James Madison. And just to get it to overtime was a feat for JMU. I mean,
yeah, they were down a while.
Yeah. Elijah Surratt is just ridiculous. I didn't watch most of this game, I watched the end, though. I watched the last drive for JMU, and then I watched overtime. This kid made some incredible catches. High point in the ball on a couple of them, and the touchdown catch that he made was just ridiculous. And then he comes back and toe taps for the 2-point conversion. It was just crazy, the catches this kid was making. But all for naught, the Mountaineers go into Harrisonburg and win with College game day there. Joey Aguilar for the Mountaineers, 28 of 46, 60.9%, 318, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Jordan McLeod for the Dukes, 27 of 46, 58.7%, 289, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, a rushing score, and a fumble. That's the thing. We haven't been seeing McLeod turn the ball over like that most of the season, so App State defense did a good job in this game to get those turnovers. Not a pretty game running for either side. JMU running back Tyson Lawton, the leading rusher, 13 carries, 37 yards, 5 catches for 50 yards. You had, like I mentioned, JMU wide receiver Elijah Surratt, 8 catches, 128 yards, a touchdown. 2 touchdown day for App wide receiver Caden Robinson, 4 catches, 68 yards in those 2 scores. And defensively, I think I'm going to go with App linebacker Nate Johnson, 4 tackles, 3 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. I mean, App defensive end Michael Fletcher also had same stats, just a couple less tackles. App State plus 10 wins outright, under 55.5. Still think JMU should be ranked. F the NCAA. Ranked matchup here and a smasher. Number 17, Arizona just annihilated number 22, Utah. 42-18. It was 21-0 real quick in the first quarter. And the Cats never looked back. This was crazy because, like, no one had done this to Utah, really. Even when they played Washington last week, like, it was a struggle for Michael Penix against this Utah defense. But Noah Fafita's like, I got it.
I'm not even a first-round talent. Yeah, I'll do it.
Hey, he might be.
Hey, he's playing like it right now.
He's a redshirt freshman. He'll be eligible next year. Probably won't come out till 26, but
he's right next to that cornerback from Alabama on my 2026 draft board. They're neck and neck.
Downs. Yeah, so this was Logan's second lone wolf, and he did get us on Arizona, so good job. But, Bryson Barnes for the Utes, 31 of 53, 58.5%, 320, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 19 carries for 44 yards. If you're Utah, that is not what you want. You do not want Bryson Barnes throwing the ball 53 times every game. For Noah Fafita, like I mentioned, 22 of 30, 73.3%, 253, 2 touchdowns. Not crazy, but efficient and no turnovers. Arizona quarterback Jaden DeLora came in. He's been benched ever since he came back from his injury because of how well Fafita was playing. 2 of 2, 100%, 51 yards and a touchdown. Arizona running back Jonah Coleman leading the game in rushing, 14 carries, 90 yards, a touchdown. 2 touchdown day for Arizona running back Michael Wiley, 5 carries, 24 yards on the ground, 5 catches, 68 yards, 2 receiving scores. Arizona wide receiver Tetaroa McMillan, over 100, 8 catches, 116 yards, a touchdown. Oh, and he also threw a 21-yard touchdown. That was Arizona's first touchdown, I believe. Utah wide receiver Devon Vele, he also went over 109 for 111 and a touchdown. And defensive player of the game, I'm going to go with 2. Utah defensive end Connor O'Toole, 6 tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for loss, 2 pass deflections. And then, of course, Arizona linebacker Anthony Ward scoring the Wildcats' second touchdown a 2-yard blocked punt return for a touchdown. So it was crazy how Arizona started this game going up 21-zip. They get a wide receiver throwing a touchdown. Then they get a blocked punt recovered for a touchdown. And then Fafita threw a touchdown for the third score in this game. They're getting it from Utah is getting it from every angle. The only thing Arizona didn't do is score on defense.
Maybe next time.
Arizona covered -2.5 easily, over 45.5. Go Dogs. Number 1, Georgia. 38-10 over number 18, Tennessee. This was so fun to watch. Just absolutely destroying Tennessee. They had us early. They had us on the first play. And it was funny because when Tennessee ran that first play for a 75-yard touchdown, I know my friends that went with me, our guy Mark, will remember we were at the Georgia-Florida game in 2020. I believe it was. Yeah, 2020. And they Georgia ran, I don't think it was the first play, but it was like one of the first couple plays. Ran in for a long touchdown run, and Georgia went up 7-zip over Florida. And then Kyle Pitts just crushed us after that. So literally when Tennessee did that, I was like, bro, this is a Georgia-Florida game when I was there. So, and it ended up the same way. Georgia, the team giving up the long touchdown early, ended up crushing the opponent. So Carson Beck is just, I mean, Heisman, give it to him. I want him to get to New York at the very worst. 24 of 30, 80% completion, 298, 3 touchdowns. I mean, the guy is balling, and it's surgical. Joe Milton the third for Tennessee, 17 of 30, 56.7%, 147. Tennessee running back Jalen Wright, like I mentioned, 9 carries, 90 yards, a touchdown, leading the game in rushing. But you take away that first touchdown, he's got 8 carries for 15 yards. So there you go. Georgia wide receiver Marcus Rosemy-Jack Saint leading the game in receiving, 7 receptions, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. And how about the all-purpose day for Dylan Bell? Georgia wide receiver, 5 catches, 90 yards, a touchdown, 1 carry for 4 yards, and then he threw an 18-yard touchdown as well. Brock Bowers scoring, his second game back from his ankle injury. And defensively, I'm going to go with Tennessee linebacker Aaron Beasley, 9 tackles, 4 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Georgia -8.5 covers, under 59.5. Love it. This is every Iowa Hawkeyes fan's dream game.
The perfect Iowa game.
Number 16 Iowa. I cannot believe they're going to be inside the top 15 tonight, probably.
Oh, absolutely. They'll probably be like 13 or 12.
Absolutely ridiculous. Number 16 Iowa, 15-13 over Illinois. I didn't know we went back to 1923, but okay.
Whatever works.
Anyways, for Illinois, John Paddock, the Ball State transfer, 22 of 47, 46.8%, 215. Deacon Hill, this is actually encouraging. I did watch some of this game. Deacon Hill actually didn't look terrible for once. 19 of 29, 65.5%, 167, 1 touchdown. If they get that production, I mean, they might have a chance in the Big Ten title game.
Be a good one.
Illinois running back Reggie Love the third, leading the game in rushing, 18 carries, 64 yards, a touchdown, 2 catches for 14 yards. Leading the game in receiving, Illinois wide receiver Isaiah Williams, 8 catches, over 100 yards, 105 through the air. And defensively, 2 guys for Iowa. defensive back Jamari Harris, 8 tackles, all of them solos, 1 tackle for loss, 4 pass deflections. And then Iowa defensive end Joe Evans was literally everywhere. When the part of the game that I did watch, Evans literally, like, he was batting balls down, he was sacking the quarterback. It was ridiculous. 4 tackles, 1 solo, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for loss, 3 pass deflections. And I think 2 of the 3 pass deflections came on the final drive for Illinois. The last 2 plays of the game for the Illini were Evans pass deflections. Pretty sure. Illinois, they do cover, though. Plus 2.5 by the hook. Under 33.5. Just lovely. You always smash the under in Iowa games. Absolutely. No matter what the number is. You know what, though? This game would have went over if it would have been last week's game. Because last week the spread was 27.5.
Right.
All right. Number 19, Notre Dame, 45-7 over Wake Forest. Sam Hartman revenge game against his former team. Pretty good, I'd say. 21 of 29, 72.4%, 277, and 4 touchdowns. Backup quarterback Steve Angeli came in 3 of 3, 36 yards, a touchdown as well. Michael Kern for the Demon Deeks, 11 of 20, 55%, 81 yards, 8 carries, 11 yards, and a fumble. My guy Audric Estime, love me some Audric Estime, number 7, running down the pike, 22 carries, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Let's see, Notre Dame wide receiver Rico Flores Jr. over 100, 8 catches, 102 yards, and a fumble. And a lot of other touchdowns. Defensively, let's go with Notre Dame defensive lineman Javante Jean-Baptiste. 5 tackles, 4 solos, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for loss. Notre Dame, minus 22.5 covers. Over 47.5. Luckily, Wake Forest scored. Clemson. Upset City over number 20, North Carolina, 31-20. And we all had Clemson.
Yeah.
No one went on the limb and took UNC.
I think everyone saw this coming.
Yeah, I believe this is 3 straight losses for North Carolina. More than likely kicks them out of the college football playoff rankings. Cade Klubnik for Clemson, 21 of 32, 65.6%, 219, 1 touchdown, 12 carries, 44 yards, and a rushing score as well. Looked pretty good in the game. Drake May, 16 of 36, 44.4%, 209, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 10 carries for 67 yards. I don't really care about what the stats looked like for Drake May. There were some throws in this game that I was like, my goodness, this kid is elite. Like, he doesn't get a lot of help around him. The offensive line didn't give him a lot of time most of the game. Clemson's pass rush was pretty ferocious. But like I said, there were some throws that made you understand why he's up at the top of the mock drafts for this year.
Hot take. This is probably my draft hot take. I would take Drake May over Caleb Williams.
Oh, I agree. We'll talk about Caleb Williams in a second in next game.
But, If I was the Bears, my number 1 pick would be Drake May.
But yeah. My running back pick is Omarion Hampton. He is crazy good. 19 carries, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 fumbles. It was crazy. He had never fumbled before this game, and he gets hit twice. Trying to I believe Hampton is oh yeah. So 2025, he's a true sophomore. So gotta wait a year on him to see if we can get him. Would love Panthers keep him in the Carolina area. Why not next year?
We'll see.
Clemson running back Will Shipley, he's eligible this year. 18 carries, 126 yards, touchdown, a fumble, 2 receptions for 53 yards. UNC wide receiver Devontae Walker leading the game in receiving, 4 catches, 70 yards. And defensive player of the game, I'm going to go with my top linebacker this coming year. I know people like his teammate Barrett Carter over him. I don't know why. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. reminds me a lot of Nakobe Dean, just thicker. Because of how many plays he makes. Like 11 tackles, 7 of them solos, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for loss of pass deflection. I absolutely love Jeremiah Trotter. Come to Philly, sir. We would love to have you where your father played. That would be just a great story though too, to bring him to Philly, like play for his dad's team. I loved me some Jeremiah Trotter in the 2000s. Clemson minus 7.5 covers, under 60.5. Like I mentioned, UCLA 38-20 over USC. Now we can have the Caleb Williams discussion, sir. And you have the floor, since you brought it up first.
Listen, I like Caleb. I'm not going to pretend he's not extremely skilled. What I have an issue with is that he has a skill set that if you don't refine with very good coaching, he's going to end up kind of like Justin Fields. Very, very unconfident. He's going to lose focus. He's going to be upset after losses, and it's really going to mess with him. We've seen it this year with USC, just really hanging this kid out to dry. And again, you look at his stat line, and he's great. He should be the second QB taken in this draft. I don't see him dropping below Bo Nix or Michael Penix or any QB. He's number 2. He's the second best QB. I think the best place he could go is definitely not Chicago and definitely not Arizona. Those would be the worst places for him to go.
New York, I believe, is number 2 right now.
New York,
they jumped back. I forgot they won. They jumped back.
They did win. I think New York does make a lot of sense for him. I think that's just a better run organization than Arizona and Chicago. But again, it's just one of those things where he's a lot more volatile. I think Drake May just has a lot more natural QB talent. Like, he's better in the pocket. He's better at reading defenses. He doesn't have to improvise as much because he's great with the ball. But I think with Caleb Williams in the best possible offensive system can be very good. It's kind of like what's a good comparison? I would say drafting Drake May would be like drafting Drew Brees. Very consistent, good pocket passer, very smart, knows what he has. Drafting Caleb Williams would be like drafting Lamar Jackson. He has to go to the right system, which Lamar Jackson did go to the right system, which worked. Which is why, for me, it's like Caleb Williams needs to go to a system like Lamar Jackson went to, where he has a very smart coach, he has a good team around him, he has a good system, he has an organization that really cares and knows how to take care of its players, which is why I'm a little iffy on Caleb.
So the top 5 right now is Chicago, Arizona, New England, Chicago, and the Giants.
The 2 best places for Caleb to go would be New England or the Giants. If he goes to the Bears or Arizona, they're gonna screw him up. Listen, it's not a reflection of Caleb Williams. It's a reflection on the Bears and the Cardinals. Cardinals are really bad at developing their players, and same with the Bears. New England and Giants, though, I think he could really thrive.
So I have a different reason of why I like Drake May over Caleb Williams right now. It's the attitude. I don't have an issue with what he did last week. Obviously, you know, it's an emotional game, your last home game. As a collegiate athlete, it's tough, especially when you lose. He also, I think it was 2 weeks ago, didn't shake hands with anyone, sat on the bench at the end of the game. And then this week, they get crushed by 18 against their rival. And he refuses to speak to the media after the game, as is his duty. Now, it's not an obligated duty like the NFL. Like NFL, you have to speak to the media. College, you don't have to speak to the media. But, bro, you're going to be an NFL quarterback. Like, you have to face the media. You have to face the public and own the loss, you know? So I have an issue. It'll be really interesting to see what happens in his interviews. I'm not sure. Well, he should be going to the Senior Bowl. If for some reason he doesn't, then we'll see what the interviews look like at the Combine. But I think he's going to have to get coached up a lot to figure out the answers to the questions about his sort of off-field issues that he's having.
Which is why I think New England is a very good place for him, because Belichick is the king of professionalism in the NFL world. Like he's almost like a drill sergeant. You're getting in there. You're going to be a professional. You're going to be a patriot. We have a way of doing things, and you're going to do it. Which is why I think Caleb's best place is there. Bears and Cardinals are not going to teach him how to be like a professional.
I wouldn't rule out the Cardinals because we don't know really what that organizational culture is yet, being just in first season of Jonathan Gannon. And also, I don't think the Cardinals are going to be there at the end of the season.
You think they're going to get a couple more wins?
I do. With the way that Kyler's playing.
Yeah, Kyler looked pretty solid.
Yeah. Tough loss this week against a good Texans team. But, yeah, I think Kyler's been very good off his ACL. And Jonathan Gannon's got the defense playing well also. So, but anyways, into this Battle of LA game here. Caleb Williams, like you said, just crazy good. 31 of 42, 73.8%, 384, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Ethan Garbers for UCLA, 18 of 31, 58.1%, 155, 3 touchdowns. Monster game for UCLA running back TJ Harden, 22 carries, 142 yards, a touchdown, 2 catches for 16 yards and a rushing score. We mentioned how Caleb doesn't get help. Well, they couldn't run the ball. Marshawn Lloyd was their leading rusher with 17 yards. He also fumbled. Jerry Rice's son having a great day. 108 catches, 147 yards, a touchdown for Brendan Rice. 2 touchdown day for UCLA tight end Hudson Habermel. Habermel. I don't know how you say it. 2 receptions, 29 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then defensively, I already go with the touchdown guy. UCLA defensive back Alex Johnson, 2 tackles, both of them solos, and an 11-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Also, Laiatu Latu, one of the top pass rushers in this coming draft. Another great game, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. UCLA +5 wins outright, under 62.5. And this game was the opposite of the Clemson game. No one had UCLA. UNLV 31-27 over Air Force. The Rebels continue to win, and they will now be the host, I believe. Well, there's some other stuff that needs to happen. They need to win this week to ensure that they host the Mountain West Championship game. But well, I guess they need to win technically. Yeah, I mean, all right. Well, yeah, I won't get into the clinching scenarios. We'll talk more about that on Friday. I have all the clinching scenarios for the remaining conference championship spots. But, anyways, UNLV in a great spot after this game. Jaden Mayava, 15 of 29, 51.7%, 339, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 8 carries for 36 yards. And UNLV was down. They were down in this game 27-13, I want to say, at halftime. And I believe they shut out the Falcons after halftime to win this one. I could be wrong, as I usually am. But we'll just fact check on the fly here. Yeah, 27-14 at halftime. And they shut out the Falcons in the second half. Sort of like the Eagles to win this game. Jensen Jones for Air Force, 1 of 6, 16.7%, 35 yards, 19 carries, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 4-yard reception. John Boucher came in late. It was really odd. Boucher came in to throw the ball, and he only threw it twice. 1 of 2, 50%, 21 yards on like the Falcons' last drive, which Air Force had it. Like, they got down inside the UNLV 10-yard line, I think it was, and the Rebels just bulled up and stopped them. 100-yard day for Air Force running back Dylan Carlson, 16 carries, 104 yards, and a fumble. Leading the game in receiving, massive day for Ricky White of UNLV, 8 catches, 169 yards, a touchdown. And defensive player of the game has to go to UNLV linebacker Jackson Woodard, 9 tackles, 5 solos, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Marcel McDuffie also, big tackle day for him. UNLV plus 2.5 wins outright over 46.5. Number 2, Ohio State crushing Minnesota 37-3. And again, this is back-to-back games where they're not playing anyone. Now, Minnesota's better than Michigan State, but
They were.
still. Kyle McCord, 20 of 30, 66.7%, 212, 2 touchdowns. For the Gophers, Ethan Kaliakmanis, 11 of 19, 57.9%, 89 yards, a pick, and a fumble. Big night for Ohio State running back Travion Henderson, 15 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 receptions for 26 yards. Ohio State wide receiver Emeka Egbuka leading the game in receiving, 5 catches, 83 yards. And defensive player of the game is Ohio State defensive end Jack Sawyer, 6 tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack, 3.5 tackles for loss.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State minus 27.5 covers under 51.5. Marvin Harrison's not winning the Heisman.
Shh, you shut your mouth.
Number 6, Oregon crushing Arizona State 49-13. How about Bo Nix? 24 of 29, 82.8%, 404 yards and 6 touchdowns, ties the Oregon touchdown passes in a game record. And oh, by the way, he only played a half.
That draft stock just shot up.
Ty Thompson came in. Ty Simpson plays for Alabama. Ty Thompson plays for Oregon. 4 of 6 for Thompson, 66.7%, 59 yards, 1 touchdown, and a pick. Trenton Bourguet for the Sun Devils, 20 of 37, 54.1%, 142. Oregon running back Bucky Irving leading the game in rushing, 11 carries, 63 yards, 3 catches, 33 yards. it was really interesting what happened with Arizona State. I don't know like what they were doing. Like they played at one quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a running back and a tight end combined for 10 passing attempts. I wish I would have watched this game because I know Cameron Scatterbo has thrown quite a bit this year, which is really weird. But in this game for him, Scatterbo 8 carries, 49 yards, 1 reception for 6 yards, 206 passing, 45 yards, and a pick. The other guy that I mentioned, tight end Jalen Conyers, 2 catches for 38 yards, 3 of 4 passing for 18 yards. Is really weird. 100-yard night for Oregon wide receiver Troy Franklin, 8 catches, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns. I love Troy Franklin. I think the Eagles need to draft him to solidify the 3rd wide receiver spot. Anyways, Oregon tight end Patrick Herbert. How about Justin's brother? 2 touchdown night for him, 3 catches, 78 yards, 2 scores. And defensively, I'm going to go with Arizona State defensive lineman Clayton Smith, 4 tackles, all of them solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Oregon minus 21.5 covers, over 52.5. Number 23, Oklahoma State, 43-30 over Houston. Alan Bowman was fantastic, 29 of 43, 67.4%, 348, 2 touchdowns, a pick. Pretty solid effort off the blowout 42-point loss to UCF last week. Donovan Smith for Houston, 17 of 29, 58.6%, 235, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 13 carries, 63 yards, a touchdown, and a 28-yard receiving touchdown as well for Smith. Ollie Gordon, he's back. 25 carries, 164 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 second-half touchdowns, 5 catches for 16 yards as well. Just crazy night for Oklahoma State wide receiver Brennan Presley. How about 15 receptions for 189 yards? Just wish he would have scored, would have put the cherry on top there. Houston wide receiver Joseph Manjack, the 4th, 3 catches, 46 yards, and he threw the 28-yard touchdown to Donovan Smith. Defensively, I got to go with Houston defensive back Isaiah Hamilton, 6 tackles, 4 solos, 1 pass selection, 57-yard pick 6. Oklahoma State minus 6.5 covers, over 56.5, 73. That one. Number 4, Florida State, 58-13 over North Alabama. And it came at a cost, big cost to Florida State's national title hopes. Jordan Travis going down in this game, severe injury. I haven't heard exactly what it was. But if you just said he like tore every ligament in his knee, I would believe you. Because I didn't see it. I turned this game on when it was 13-0 North Alabama because I was like, bro, what is happening? What is Florida State doing? Like, how are they down 2 scores to North Alabama? And at that point, Tate Rodemaker was already in. And then I saw the video on Twitter and I was like, wow, that's bad. So I don't know exactly what it is. If I were to speculate, as the announcers always say, they don't want to speculate. I don't really care. I like to speculate. My best guess at it, and I'm usually actually pretty good calling injuries, especially live when they happen. But remembering what the leg looked like after he got hit, my best guess is because he also got twisted a little bit. I don't know if it's a spiral fracture in one of his tibia or fibula. Definitely probably a torn ACL, MCL, or probably not MCL. Or yeah, MCL. I'm trying to remember what the LCL, MCL, ACL, PCL. But yeah, definitely torn ACL more than likely. I would imagine possibly even dislocated kneecap as well. Don't know though. Haven't heard anything. So, anyways, hope Jordan Travis doing good. Hopefully, can come back.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks because he's going out this year. Like, it'll be interesting to watch where he falls in the NFL. Travis, just 2 of 4, 50%, 21 yards, and a 16-yard carry. That's the one he got hurt on. Tate Rodemaker, though, started out slow, but ended up doing pretty decent. 13 of 23, 56.5%, 217, 2 touchdowns. Brock Glenn, the true freshman, also came in at the end, 2 of 3, 66.7%, 35 yards, and scored his first rushing touchdown of his career. For North Alabama, it was Noah Walters, 13 of 26, 50%, 65 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 13 carries, 17 yards, and a fumble. They also played Ben Harris, 2 of 4, 50% for 18 yards. Florida State running back C.J. Campbell Jr. leading the game in rushing, 3 carries, 78 yards, a touchdown. You also had a 2-touchdown game for FSU running back Keziah Holmes, 4 carries, 24 yards, a touchdown, 2 receptions, 33 yards, a receiving score. Leading the game in receiving was Florida State tight end Jaheim Bell, 2 catches, 59 yards. And defensively, I had to go with 2 guys here. Florida State defensive back Jerrion Jones, 3 tackles, all of them solos, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss, and a pick. And then how about FSU defensive back Quindarius Jones, 50-yard blocked field goal return for a touchdown. North Alabama, plus 48.5 covers, over 59.5. How about the Sunflower Showdown?
Ooh.
Number 21, Kansas State, 31-27 over number 25, Kansas. And this was an excellent effort by the Jayhawks. Starting your third-string quarterback. Yeah, I mean, to lose by 4. And they had the lead most of the game, did Kansas. Good effort by Will Howard to bring the Wildcats back. But Will Howard, like I said, 13 of 24, 54.2%, 165, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 4 carries for 18 yards and a rushing score. Cole Ballard, 11 of 16, 68.8%, 162, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 10 carries for 55 yards. 200-yard rushers in this one. Kansas running back Devin Neal, 18 carries, 138 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 2-yard reception. K-State running back DJ Giddens, 21 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown, 2 receptions for 4 yards. Leading the game in receiving, KSU wide receiver Jace Brown, 4 catches, 96 yards. And defensive player of the game, I'm going to go with Kansas defensive lineman Austin Booker, 6 tackles, all of them solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Kansas plus 7.5 covers, under 59.5. Number 5, Washington, undefeated still, 22-20 over number 11, Oregon State. Tough game in Corvallis. I was listening to the second half of this one. DJ Uiagalelei for the Beavers, 15 of 31, 48.4%, 164, 2 picks, 6 carries, 53 yards. Michael Penix Jr. For the Huskies, 13 of 28, 46.4%, 162, 2 touchdowns, 3 carries, 22 yards, a touchdown on the ground. This opens up Bo Nix for Heisman.
Who knows?
Of course, there's one other guy we'll talk about at the end of our FBS slate. But good game for Oregon State running back Damian Martinez, 26 carries, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 receptions for 44 yards. And oh, by the way, Oregon State's 3 losses this year, I don't remember the exact number, but I think they've lost all 3 by a combined 12 points.
Let me check.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they lost to Washington by 2. They lost to Washington State by 3, so that's up to 5. And they lost to who else did they lose to? Arizona by no, I already said Arizona. No, I didn't say Arizona. Arizona by 3. So they lost by a combined 8.
8. Yeah, 8 points. That is rough.
Brutal.
8 points from being 11-0. Can you imagine Oregon State 11-0? That'd be crazy. Poor Dallas would be rocking. But all for naught. Washington wide receiver Roma Dunze, despite the driving rain, had a 100-yard day, 7 receptions, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. And defensive player of the game, Washington corner Jabbar Muhammad. 1 tackle, it was a solo. 4 pass deflections, 2 picks. This guy is crazy. Braylon Trice also had a great game for Washington. The defensive end, 6 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 2.5 tackles for loss, and a pass deflection. Those 2 were why Washington won this game defensively. Washington plus 1.5 wins outright, under 62.5. Number 9, Missouri, 33-31 win over Florida. The Harrison Mavis walk-off field goal for the Tigers. Brady Cook, 20 of 34, 58.8%, 331, 1 touchdown, 7 carries, 11 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. And he was cooking. I didn't watch this game. I was listening to it, though. And the final drive by Brady Cook, I think he went like 5 of 5 and just ripped Florida all the way down the field to get Mavis set up for the game winner. Graham Mertz for the Gators, 14 of 21, 66.7%, 183, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 5 carries, 13 yards. I was very scared. I was very scared that Missouri was going to lose this game and I was going to lose my future bet on Florida. But it is still alive. I need Mr. Tate Rodemaker to finish the Gators off this weekend and hit Florida's under 5.5 wins total. So please, Florida State, crush Florida, which they should. They it's an in-state rivalry. They should. Max Brown also played for Florida, 4 of 5, 80%, 56 yards, 7 carries, 42 yards, and a fumble. Another really good night for Missouri running back Cody Schrader, 23 carries, 148 yards, touchdown, 2 receptions. He has to be more than likely one of the first-team All-SEC players. 2 touchdown night for Florida running back Trevor Etienne, 15 carries, 82 yards, a touchdown on the ground, 2 catches, 37 yards, touchdown through the air. Missouri running back wide receiver Luther Burden III continues to have a good season, 9 catches, 158 yards. And defensively, we go with Missouri defensive lineman Darius Robinson, 5 tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Florida plus 12.5 covers, over 56.5. Number 7, Texas, 26-16 over Iowa State. Tough one in Ames. For Iowa State, quarterback Rocco Becht, 24 of 32, 75%, 323, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. That's pretty solid for Mr. Becht there against the number 7 team in the country. Quinn Ewers returning from his shoulder injury, 23 of 33, 69.7%, 281, 2 touchdowns. Pretty solid. 100-yard day for Texas running back C.J. Baxter, 20 carries, 117 yards, 5 catches for 13 yards. I guess Jonathan Brooks was injured for this game, unfortunately. I love me some Jonathan Brooks. Iowa State couldn't run the ball at all. As you can see, Abu Sama III, their freshman running back, was leading rusher with 11 yards. So that's tough. Iowa State wide receiver Jaden Higgins over 100, 7 catches, 104 yards. And defensively, I'm going with Iowa State defensive end Joey Peterson, 4 tackles, 3 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. Texas covers minus 7.5, under 43.5. Number 15, LSU, 56-14 over Georgia State. All right. I had a massive issue with this game. There is no reason why Jaden Daniels should have played this entire game. Absolutely zero.
Stat padding.
Right. They literally were just trying to get his stats up for the Heisman. It's bullshit. It really is. It literally takes the integrity out of the game when you do that. So I had a big issue. I have a big issue with LSU doing this. They're not going to be in the SEC championship game, which is good. They don't deserve it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's annoying. It's not just because I want to see Bo Nix win the Heisman. It's also, like I said, it's about the integrity of the game. Like it's not right. Like you should have your backup quarterback in, especially in the second half when you're up by at least 4 touchdowns. But anyways, Jaden Daniels, 25 of 30, 83.3%, 413 yards, 6 touchdowns, 10 carries, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. So 509 yards, 8 touchdowns for Jaden Daniels. For Georgia State, Darren Granger, 23 of 29, 79.3%, 179, 1 touchdown, 9 carries for 32 yards. Backup quarterback Michael Colasordo also played 3 of 4, 75%. I don't know why I wrote 50%. 38 yards, 1 carry for 17 yards. Georgia State running back Marcus Carroll leading the game and rushing outside of Daniels, 15 carries, 87 yards, a touchdown, 4 receptions for 51 yards. Massive nights, 300-yard receivers for LSU. Malik Neighbors, 8 for 142 touchdowns. Brian Thomas Jr., 4 for 103 and a touchdown. Kyron Lacey, 5 for 101 and 2 touchdowns. Defensive player of the game. There really wasn't a lot of defensive stats, so got to go with LSU linebacker Harold Perkins Jr., 6 tackles, 3 solos, 1.5 tackles for loss. LSU minus 32.5 covers. Under 73.5. First FCS game of the week. Both of them were clunkers this week. And Logan's the only one that got it right.
Can't believe it.
He lone wolfed Montana in our next game. But by the way, I forgot to say Logan lost Air Force and Kansas lone wolves there. Number 10 Villanova just spanking number 7 Delaware 35-7. Connor Watkins for the Wildcats, 17 of 27, 63%, 222, 2 touchdowns, 3 carries for 14 yards. Delaware playing 3 quarterbacks. Nick Minicucci, 9 of 21, 42.9%, 55 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 8 carries for 39 yards. I believe Ryan O'Connor is their normal starter. I don't know if he got hurt. I didn't get a chance to watch this. Actually, no, this one wasn't on any network or ESPN Plus. So you had to find it somehow if you want to watch it. But 3 of 5 for O'Connor, 60%, 47 yards a pick, and a 11-yard carry. Delaware also playing quarterback Zach Marker, 2 of 5, 40%, 27 yards. Villanova running back Jalen Jackson, big game, 9 carries, 130 yards, and a one reception for -1 yard. Villanova wide receiver Jaron Hayek, over 106 receptions, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then defensive player of the game, obviously we don't have full stats in FCS, but Villanova linebacker Danny Abram, 69-yard pick 6. His teammates, defensive back Esauce Waxter, a pick. Linebacker Jordan Nelson with a pick. And then for Delaware, linebacker Jackson Taylor with a fumble recovery. Villanova plus 1.5 wins outright, under 47.5. And Battle of Montana here was not any kind of battle. Number 3 Montana, again, crushing number 4 Montana State, 37-7. Clifton McDowell, quite a name for the Montana Grizzlies. 17 of 22, 77.3%, 200, 1 touchdown, 12 carries, 69 yards, and a touchdown. Touchdown Tommy did not score many touchdowns in this game. Tommy Malott for the Bobcats, 4 of 13, 30.8%, 67 yards, 1 touchdown, a pick, 10 carries, 108 yards, though. That's really what he does best is run the ball. Montana State also playing Sean Chambers. He went 0 for 3 passing. Montana State running back Julius Davis, 1 yard short of his quarterback for the rushing lead in this game, 14 carries, 107 yards. And Montana wide receiver Junior Bergen leading the game in receiving, 6 receptions, 91 yards, a touchdown. And the one defensive play of the game, Montana corner Trevin Gradney with a pick. Montana plus 6.5 wins outright, under 52.5. Switching over to NFL, Browns 13-10 over the Steelers, walk-off by Dustin Hopkins. Yeah.
Thank goodness Carolina's not here because she'd be ripping our picks right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the Steelers, I don't know what they're doing most of the game.
Well, they just refused to give the ball to Warren. Warren was just the only guy really doing anything, and you gave him 9 fucking carries.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, the play calling, obviously, we talked pre-show about Matt Canada. We'll talk about him in a little bit, but the play calling was not great.
No.
And I mean, they had chances. They had chances to do some stuff. And I agree with also what I've watched, probably like the most ESPN clips that I've watched about the Steelers offense in the last like 2 days. Just reaction from this game about the Steelers offense. And I forget who said it on ESPN, but they were like, why? Oh, it wasn't even ESPN. It was Louis Riddick on the Rich Eisen show. He's like, why wasn't George Pickens targeted on the last drive? Like, why wasn't George Pickens involved a lot of the game, especially in those clutch situations where he can make the crazy catches that he does? But yeah, I agree. I also Pat Freiermuth came back for this game, and he really wasn't involved either. I would have liked to see him get more involved. Now, obviously, you have to give the Browns credit. They're one of the best, if not the best, defense in the league. And once again, the Steelers couldn't protect Kenny Pickett at all. Mm-hmm. Myles Garrett was killing them all day. So, you know.
They had 2 safeties that should have been safeties.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you say?
The ball was across the line.
Nah. It wouldn't have mattered anyway.
But yeah, diving into the stats, DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, his second career start, 24 of 43, 55.8%, 165, 1 pick, 3 carries for 20 yards. That's also something at the end, like, he was perfect on the last drive that set the field goal up. And I don't know what the Steelers are doing on defense either. This was probably Joey Porter Jr.'s worst game of his rookie season. Mm-hmm. He got torched by Amari Cooper. Now, Amari's not on the stat sheet here. But the final drive, I think either 2 or 3 throws went to Cooper, and they were just slants. Like, Cooper was just setting him up on an outside stem and then slant inside. And Porter was trying to get hands on him, but as he was trying to get hands on him, it was getting him too far to the outside, and then Coop just went inside. So, yeah, that was tough. But anyways, Kenny Pickett here, 15 of 28, 53.6%, 106. Steelers running back Jalen Warren leading the game in rushing. 9 carries, 129 yards, touchdown, 3 receptions for 16 yards. Obviously, 74 of that came on the second play of the second half for Pittsburgh as he ran 74-yard touchdown in. The Browns couldn't run the ball either, by the way.
No.
Kareem Hunt, the leading rusher, 36 yards there. But Browns wide receiver Elijah Moore, leading receiver in this one, 6 for 60 on 7 targets. Big target day for David Njoku, tight end for the Browns, 7 catches, 56 yards on 15 targets. He had, I think, 3 drops in this game, 4 drops maybe.
Yeah, I texted Caroline's dad and brothers during the game. So, like, did Njoku rub his hands through butter and Vaseline before the game? Because holy shit, this guy just can't catch a cold.
It was absolutely hilarious.
It was awful. I've never seen a guy just refuse to catch a ball more.
It was funny. I enjoyed it until the Steelers lost. We got a lot of defensive stats in this game because they're 2 of the best defenses in the league, and I'm gonna go the middle 3 guys. Linebacker T.J. Watt for the Steelers, 6 tackles, 4 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits. Browns defensive end Ogbo Okoronkwo, 5 tackles, 4 solos, 1 sack, 4 tackles for loss, and QB hit. And like I mentioned before, Myles Garrett, 2 tackles, 2 sacks, solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits. And why not add in another guy, the leading tackler in this game? Landon Roberts was everywhere, bro.
Oh,
Number 50 was flying around, 15 tackles, 11 of them solos, and 2 tackles for loss. Browns covered -2.5 by the hook, under 34.5. Cowboys 33-10 over the Panthers, and God, dude, I know I
just
looked
another stinker for your boys.
I looked dumb. I asked on Friday if I'm gonna look stupid, and maybe I do, picking the Panthers plus 10.5 for the best bets, but double-digit dogs usually work out okay. And I mean, the Panthers had them. I mean, they were in this game for about 2.5 quarters, I want to say. It just unraveled in the second half. I think really the toughest thing was the touchdown right at the end of the half. So the touchdown to CeeDee Lamb right at the end of the first half got the Cowboys up. I think it was 17-7 at that point. I can't recall. Let me see here. 17-3. Yeah. So it was going well. Like, the Panthers were stopping Dallas on offense a lot. They were down 7. I was like, all right, let's get a stop, hold them to a field goal. 13-3 at halftime isn't terrible, but 17-3. But even then, Panthers get the ball, or they don't get the ball. I don't remember. But anyways, Panthers defense playing well. It's still 17-3, right? And then Bryce Young leads them down. I believe it was a 17-play drive. He leads them all the way down the field. They score a touchdown. It's a 7-point game going into the fourth quarter. 17-10. Panthers are in it.
And then
we give up 16 straight to end the game. So, I mean, once again, it's tough when you keep losing, right? But there are things that you see that make you think like this team is improving, and there are signs of life, especially from Bryce Young. Like I said, I thought he played very well against Chicago last week. decent in this game. The yards aren't there. Their turnovers once again. But still, I don't think this team is giving up. I think they're still fighting despite being 1-9. And I think if it was anyone else at head coach right now, I think this locker room would be completely torn apart.
Yeah.
But Frank Reich is keeping it together so far. See how it goes. But yeah, Dak Prescott, 25 of 38, 65.8%, 189, 2 touchdowns. Again, Panthers defense, excellent. Holding Prescott under 200 passing yards. Cooper Rush also played late in the game, 2 of 3, 66.7%, 15 yards. Bryce Young, 16 of 29, 55.2%, 123, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and a fumble. Cowboys running back Tony Pollard leading the game in rushing, 12 carries, 61 yards, touchdown, 4 catches, 19 yards on 5 targets. Panthers wide receiver Adam Thielen, 8 receptions, 74 yards on 11 targets. He destroyed me in fantasy. Thank you.
You're welcome. Speak for Adam.
And 2 defensive players of the game here. I mean, Micah Parsons absolutely just
obviously
annihilated the Panthers offensive line all day. 6 tackles, 2 solos, 2.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits. And then the man that tied an NFL record, Cowboys corner Deron Bland, 5 tackles, 2 solos, 1 pick or 1 pass deflection and 30-yard pick 6. That's 4. 4 pick sixes on the year, ties the single season NFL record.
Didn't I see a stat that he has more receiving touchdowns than the entire Panthers, like any single Panther?
Probably. I mean, he going into this game, they showed it, I think, on the Panthers broadcast or something. They had a list of prominent wide receivers, and like he has more touchdowns than Devontae Adams, I think, or at least he's tied. I think he came into last night's game tied with Travis Kelce. I don't remember. But I mean, he's second on the Cowboys. He's tied for second on the Cowboys in touchdowns. Jake Ferguson has 4, and then CeeDee Lamb has 6. But yeah, I'm trying to see. I think he has so let's see. He has the same amount of touchdowns as Keenan Allen and Evan Ingram. He also oh wait, never mind. This is 2022. Why would they do that to me? No. Okay, so he's tied with touchdowns with Devontae Adams, Brandon Ayuk. It's not really impressive, but Saquon has 4 receiving touchdowns. Marquise Brown has 4. Nico Collins, T.J. Hawkinson, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley. And then he has more touchdowns than his teammate Brandon Cooks, Justin Jefferson, Christian Kirk, DK Metcalf, Puka Nacua, Chris Olave, George Pickens, Michael Pittman, Logan Thomas. He has more touchdowns than Jalen Waddle. So, yeah. I mean, he has more touchdowns than Amari Cooper. T. Higgins. I can keep going.
Nah, I think we get the picture.
Terry McLaurin.
No,
Terry McLaurin.
I just traded him in fantasy.
Christian Watson.
No, that's not a surprise. Christian Watson is dog water.
Garrett Wilson.
He has Zach Wilson.
Not anymore. But yeah. So yeah, Deron Bland, crazy season. I hate the Cowboys, but why not break the record at some point? Just
Why not?
Not against the Eagles. No.
It's gonna be against the Eagles.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No.
In Dallas. It's gonna break your heart.
Jalen doesn't throw interceptions. I don't know what you're talking about. Jalen is a perfect
We're
human.
just gonna ignore the Jets game.
Jalen is a perfect human being.
He's a Pookie Bear, and he's so cute.
Cowboys cover -10.5, under 43.5 by the hook. That's rough. And you know what? The overbetters were literally punching air because Brandon Aubrey missed the extra point. That could have got it to 44.
Brandon Aubrey, man, just close your DMs.
That's his first miss. That's his first extra point miss, I believe, all year.
Yeah, just turn off your DMs and just get a good night's sleep.
How about the Texans, the Young Guns, getting a win back after last week's loss, 21-16 over the Cardinals, who, like we talked about, have life. They have life now with Kyler back in the fold.
Maybe they have a fire in their gut. Who knows?
CJ Stroud, 27 of 37, 73%, 336, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. Probably his worst game of the season. He still threw for 300 yards.
Yeah, he's definitely got that Josh Allen gunslinger mentality. Maybe even Brett Favre a little bit in there. Just absolutely just whipping it and hoping for the best.
I will say, I remember 2 of the interceptions, and they were terrible.
Yeah.
The one in the end zone was really bad. He threw it right to the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But then he throws the touchdown to Tank Dell, which I think was more a play by Tank Dell than it was a throw by CJ. But anyways. Kyler, 20 of 30, 66.7%, 214, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 7 carries, 51 yards, and a rushing score. I mean, he's back. The legs are fantastic. He's doing Kyler things. Devin Singletary, another 100-yard game, 22 carries, 112 yards, touchdown, 2 receptions for 6 yards. He is, I think, single-handedly helping my shitty fantasy team win games. I'm just hoping, like, Dameon Pierce doesn't come back. He's on my IR, but, like, I mean, Singletary is playing well. I don't think they need to give any touches to Dameon Pierce at this point, even when he is healthy, probably this week. Texans wide receiver Tank Dell, like I said, another crazy game, 8 catches, 149 yards, touchdown on 10 targets. Double-digit target day for his teammate Nico Collins, 7 for 65 on 11 targets. And then defensive player of the game, I'm going to go with the top guy. How about Texans linebacker Blake Cashman? 19 tackles, 13 of them solos, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, 2 QB hits. Cardinals plus 5.5, covered by the hook, under 48.5. There was a lot of that this week in the NFL, though. You got to make sure you get the half point in there.
Mm-hmm.
Jags just ripping the Titans, 34-14. Excellent bounce back after losing by 31 last week.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Lawrence, 24-32, 75%, 262, 2 touchdowns, 5 carries, 17 yards, 2 rushing scores. This is a Trevor Lawrence we thought we were getting.
My MVP.
Titans rookie quarterback Will Levis, 13 of 17, 76.5%, 158, 2 touchdowns and a fumble. Jags running back Travis Etienne, 14 carries, 52 yards, 3 receptions for 7 yards. They shut Derrick Henry down. Thank you, Jaguars defense. I was playing against him in 2 leagues. One I won, one I didn't. But Jags wide receiver Calvin Ridley, 100-yard day, 7 receptions, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns, 9 targets on my bench. I mean, you can't blame me for putting him on my bench. Like, he hasn't done anything except for like 2 games. And now he
on the bench
goes crazy in this game. Defensively, there wasn't a lot. I'm going to go with Jags linebacker Trayvon Walker, 4 tackles, 1 solo, half a sack, 1 pass deflection, 1 QB hit. Jags minus 6.5, cover easily, over 40.5. Dolphins 20-13, close one over the Raiders. Tua Tagovailoa 28 of 39, 71.8%, 325, 2 touchdowns, a pick, and a fumble. Aiden O'Connell 24 of 41, 58.5%, 271, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Dolphins running back Raheem Mostert leading the game in rushing, 22 carries, 86 yards, and a 7-yard catch. Another just ridiculous game by Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill, 10 catches, 146 yards, touchdown on 11 targets. Double-digit targets for his counterpart, Devontae Adams, 7 catches, 82 yards, touchdown on 13 targets. How about the monster game by Jalen Phillips? Dolphins linebacker, 6 tackles, 5 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection, 3 QB hits. Oh, and by the way, he got an interception. And it's past the hour-and-a-half mark, so that means it's freeze time.
Woo! Welcome to the freeze.
Last time I was surprised. It actually came back really quickly. We'll see this time, though. I don't know. Or my computer might just blow up at this point. But I know everyone is praying for my parents to buy me a computer for Christmas. That's
We're begging for it at this point.
We're starting to GoFundMe, you know. Let's see. For this game here, the Raiders covered. Big spread, plus 14.5, under 44.5. And
there you are.
Lions 31-26 over the Bears. They were down. I wrote them. I wrote them in as a loss.
It was over.
And then Jared Goff happened.
No. Matt Eberflus happened.
Look, they were down by 12 points, 26-14, with 4:15 to go. They got it to a 5-point game with 2:59 to go. And then they scored the game winner with 29 seconds to go, added a safety at the end. But yeah, classic Bears. Jared Goff, 23 of 35, 65.7%, 236, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. Justin Fields, 16 of 23, 69.6%, 169, 1 touchdown, 18 carries, 104 yards on the ground in his return from his dislocated thumb. Lions running back David Montgomery leading the game in rushing outside of Fields, 12 carries, 76 yards, touchdown, 2 catches for 22 yards. You had Bears wide receiver DJ Moore, just short of 100, 7 catches, 96 yards on a touchdown on 9 targets. Double-digit targets for Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 for 177, a touchdown on 11 targets. And defensively, big day for Lions rookie safety Brian Branch, 6 tackles, 4 solos, 3 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection, 1 QB hit, and also Alex Anzalone, 15 tackles, 11 of them solos. It's crazy the big tackle games we've been getting by some of these linebackers across the league. Bears plus 7.5. They covered over 47.5. Logan got us.
This is the maddest I've ever seen Justin Herbert in my entire life. And people were trying to shit on the kid when his entire team just sucks around him. I've never seen a more incompetent team around a good quarterback than I am seeing right now with the Chargers.
Yeah, Packers 23-20 over the Chargers. Jordan Love 27 of 40, 67.5%, 322, 2 touchdowns. Probably the best game of Jordan Love's career. His career high in passing yards in this game, anyways. But yeah, Justin Herbert 21 to 36, 58.3%, 260, 2 touchdowns, 8 carries for 73 yards. And yeah, like I said, when we did our midseason playoffs and awards recap, like Justin Fields is my MVP pick, and he's putting up stats. He's giving his team chances to win. Fuck Quentin Johnston. Like, bro, catch the ball.
Dude, I ain't gonna lie. He was my 4th wide receiver on the draft board. I remember telling my dad, because I knew like the 3 teams in front of us wanted wide receivers. I was like, I swear to God, if Quentin Johnston falls to us, we better skip on him because he is garbage. I called it right away. I was like, I'd rather have JSN, Zay Flowers, or Jordan Addison. If I see Quentin Johnson available, we better not touch this guy. He's Laquan Treadwell.
I loved it. Because he was the only receiver that had size in the first round conversation. That's why I loved him, because he had size and speed. What I didn't account for was the incompetency.
The fact that he doesn't have hands.
He really, the drops have been tough. But I just don't think he can process the playbook well enough right now. He doesn't. So needs to dive into the books, definitely. But yeah, bro, like Justin Herbert put that in the perfect spot. That would have given the Chargers an opportunity to tie the game at the very worst.
If he stays in bound, he might even take the lead.
Right. So, and then, of course, the offensive line couldn't protect Herbert late either. He was running for his life. And yeah. And, of course, earlier, his trusted guy, Keenan Allen, drops a touchdown that's right in between the 1 and the 3.
He dropped 2 passes that could have been touchdowns.
Yeah. And so, even their best receiver, he can't get any help. So, I don't know. Right now, Justin Herbert's career is tracking the same way as his predecessor, Mr. Herbert.
Just 11 less kids. I see why Philip has a lot of kids. It's just a stress relief. I mean, he gets home and it's like, I fucking hate this team. Honey, come here.
This is the kind of talk you get when we have a morning show.
Yeah. Philip Rivers was like, you know what? I fucking hate my offense. I'll just create my own. I'll create my own.
Austin Eckler, 10 carries, 64 yards, a fumble, leading the game in rushing outside of Herbert. 2 catches for 6 yards. And that's the thing. Herbert can't even get help from Eckler. Eckler fumbles on the goal line.
Eckler runs as slow as a fullback, too. That man cannot get away from defenders.
Well, the Chargers aren't going to win if Eckler only has 2 catches. He's got to have at least 5 in a game for the Chargers to win. And for my fantasy team's sake. Because he absolutely sucked. Doesn't help that they're going against the Ravens this week. I'm thinking of benching Eckler. Because, he's not going to run. They're not going to run on the Ravens. My best hope, I'm starting him right now. But we'll see what happens going into the weekend.
I think it's safe to say if the Ravens beat Chargers, I think Chargers season's over.
Not with the way the AFC playoff picture is looking.
I don't know.
The Browns are going to lose, so it's fine.
Nah, they have Joe Flacco.
They're playing dangerous in Denver.
Oh man, can't wait to see the head hunting that goes on there. We'll get to that later.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll talk about it. Don't you effing worry.
Keenan Allen, despite his drops, had the leading receiver in this game. 10 catches, 116 yards, a touchdown on 16 targets. He's literally the only receiver Herbert has. And defensively, how about Khalil Mack? Continuing to just have a career resurgence this year. 8 tackles, 8 of them solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection, 2 QB hits. Packers plus 2.5 went outright under 44.5. Giants 31-19 over the Commanders.
The Danny DeVito legacy. Not Danny DeVito.
Sam Howell.
Tommy DeVito.
31 of 45, 68.9%. 255, 1 touchdown, 3 picks, 3 carries for 35 yards, a touchdown. Continues to be the story for Washington. When they lose, Howell turns the ball over. When they win, he doesn't. But yeah, Tommy DeVito as the front page of the New York Times or whatever paper. DeVito does it, I think is what it said, which is very original. 18 of 26, 69.2%, 246, 3 touchdowns. Pretty solid by the undrafted rookie out of Syracuse. How about Saquon having a big day? 14 carries, 83 yards, leading rusher in the game, 4 catches, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air on 5 targets. Giants wide receiver Darius Slayton leading the game in receiving, 4 catches, 82 yards, touchdown on 5 targets. And of course, bro, I had Darius Slayton starting because I had the rest of my receivers pretty much were on buys. So I picked Darius Slayton up and I was like, well, he's my best shot, so I'm going to start him. The man goes off and then he gets hurt. I'm like, bro, he had 14 points in the first half. And then he gets injured. He got injured on his touchdown, I guess. Somehow. Obviously I wasn't watching. Who was watching this game? Even if you're a Giants fan, you probably weren't watching this game.
Absolute sickos are watching this game.
Yeah. There was a lot of defensive stats, as you can see. Good Lord. I don't even know who to pick. The touchdown guy. Giants safety Isaiah Simmons. It's crazy that they list him as a safety. 4 tackles, all of them solos, 1 pass deflection, 54-yard pick 6.
Yeah, who do I want to pick? I'm going to go with Kayvon Thibodeau.
You want to go with Kayvon?
Yeah, I'll go Kayvon. Kayvon played a very good game.
Him and David Mayo.
They did.
David Mayo for the Commanders, 6 tackles, 5 solos, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. And then Kayvon Thibodeau for the Giants, 5 tackles, 3 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection, 3 QB hits. But yeah, a lot of sacks in this game. To be exact, there were, let's see. Of course it does. Oh, yeah. There were 13 sacks in this game. The Giants had 9.
Damn.
Giants had 9. Commanders had 4.
Sam Howell fighting for his life in that pocket.
Well, I mean, the Giants had to get it back when Daniel Jones got sacked 11 times earlier in the year by the Cowboys, I think it was. Or whoever. I don't know if that was the Cowboys game that he got sacked 11 times or no, it was I don't remember. Maybe if you type in Google which game did Daniel Jones get sacked 11 times, it will come up.
Daniel Jones 11 sack game. That was the Seahawks game.
Oh, yeah. The Cowboys sacked them 7 times in the opener.
Man.
But, yeah, 11 sacks by the Seahawks there. Excellent day. Anyways, Giants plus 7.5 win outright over 39.5. Giants have life. They're coming. Niners 27-14 over the Bucks. This game was very boring, despite 41 points. It's just like, I don't know.
It felt like the 49ers got all their points right away and just kind of just coasted the rest of the game. They didn't really care too much. Could they have gotten 40? Sure. I think they could have if they didn't put their foot off the gas, but nah.
Brock Purdy was spectacular. 21-25, 84%, 333 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 carries for 14 yards. And oh, by the way, perfect passer rating, 158.3. First perfect passer rating since do you know?
No, I don't.
Oh, you didn't see that stat?
No, I didn't.
Brock Purdy's the first 49ers quarterback to have perfect passer rating since Joe Montana and Steve Young both did it in, I believe, 89. Yeah.
I didn't see it.
He's a Niners legend already.
It's pretty good.
Bucks quarterback Baker Mayfield, 29 of 45, 64.4%, 246, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and a fumble. Christian McCaffrey leading the game in rushing, 21 carries, 78 yards, 5 receptions, 25 yards. And oh, by the way, he did score. He did score this game on 5 targets.
Finally. The streak's back alive. One.
49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk killed me in fantasy. 5 catches, 156 yards, a touchdown on 6 targets. Mike Evans with double-digit target day, 5 for 43, a touchdown on 12 targets. And once again, we have a big defensive game. I'm going to go with Bucks linebacker Yaya Diaby. 4 tackles, all of them solos, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. Bucks plus 13.5 covers by the hook, under 42.5. Bills just annihilating the Jets, 32-6. Josh Allen, pretty good day with his interim offensive coordinator Joe Brady, 20 of 32, 62.5%, 275, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 5 carries for 15 yards. Zach Wilson did Zach Wilson things, 7 of 15, 46.7%, 81 yards, a touchdown, a pick, 4 carries for 15 yards. Tim Boyle came in, 7 of 14, 50%, 33 yards, and a pick. Bills running back James Cook leading the game in rushing, 17 carries, 73 yards, 3 catches, 29 yards, touchdown on 4 targets. Let's see. The Bills wide receiver Khalil Shakir, 100-yard day, 3 catches, 115 yards, touchdown on 4 targets. And defensively, how about Bills defensive end Leonard Floyd, 4 tackles, 3 solos, 2.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits. Bills corner Rasul Douglas also 4 tackles, 2 solos, 3 pass deflections, 2 picks. This game, getting some return value already. I don't know why this is not. I don't know what's happening. Anyways, Bills minus 8.5 cover, under 39.5. Rams beating the Seahawks 17-16 in LA. Geno Smith 22 of 34, 64.7%, 233, 1 touchdown. Got dinged up in this game. Drew Lock 2 of 6, 33.3%, 3 yards and a pick. Classic Drew Lock. Matthew Stafford 17 of 31, 54.8%, 190, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Rams running back Royce Freeman led the game in rushing, 17 carries, 73 yards. Luckily, Darrell Henderson scored because I started him in fantasy and it wasn't very pretty. Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf leading the game in receiving, 5 for 94, touchdown on 9 targets. And defensively, I'm going to go with Seahawks rookie corner Devin Witherspoon. 8 tackles, 5 solos, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, QB hit. Seahawks plus 2.5 covers, under 44.5. Sunday Night Football, Broncos 21-20 over the Vikings. Your lone wolf.
Let's just say Sean Payton is a fucking dirtbag and should not be coaching NFL. How is it convenient that every single team he coaches is a fucking dirtbag team of fucking dirtbags headhunting? And holy shit, NFL, can you get your fucking refs in order? Third play of the fucking game, a guy you suspended for 2 games comes in and headhunts our QB, takes him to the blue tent, and you don't call a fucking penalty? Kiss my ass. This horse shit has been going on for far too long. And if you don't get your shit together, refs, I don't know what to deal with anymore. Anyway, that's my rambling. Vikings didn't lose because of the refs. There are far more other things. But I don't like that the refs' incompetence was a contributing factor.
Hey, man. Greg Williams is not his defensive coordinator anymore.
Still, he's very much there's no way he didn't know it was going on. Give me a break here.
And I would think Vance Joseph is an upstanding citizen.
Vance Joseph, great coach. I'll give him that. But man, does he coach some dirt bags on that defense? Listen, I don't blame Vance Joseph. I blame what the fuck his name is, that cornerback, that safety, that
Mr. Jackson.
Mr. Jackson. I blame him, and I blame the refs for not calling. And it wasn't just him. There was another play in the second half where Alexander Madison got just headhunted by another player. I think it was Singleton.
But he deserves it.
Yeah, shut your whore mouth. Anyway. But it's like I've seen these. I watched this game and Broncos defenders were like diving helmet first multiple times, and nothing was called. It was pretty embarrassing. Like, the fact of the matter is, like, this guy gets fined the day after, but you don't call it on the field. Like, what are you doing here? Like, your job is to protect the players and call egregious penalties when they take place. And if you get fined for your play, it's very clearly a penalty.
Dangerous.
Through
27-35, 77.1%, 259, 1 touchdown. Got it done when it mattered. Through the game-winning touchdown to Cortland Sutton. The pass or not, 20-32, 62.5%, 221, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 8 carries, 21 yards, touchdown, and a fumble. But the thing is, like, it doesn't matter if they didn't call the penalties. The Vikings have a problem, and they have a big turnover problem.
They do. It's
Josh Dobbs know how to hold the damn ball. So.
Yeah. There's, like I said, I don't blame the refs for us losing it, but they are a contributing factor. But like, I blame more on Dobbs just being very poor with the ball and making pretty bad decisions when throwing. And Madison, that fumble just completely just knocked the air out of our sails. Again, I don't want to make excuses for my team losing. We lost. It shows up in the loss column. I'm just pissy that the NFL just allowed something like this to happen, and the refs just failed to do their job.
Madison led the game in rushing, 18 carries, 81 yards, a fumble, and 1 reception for -1 yard. Broncos wide receiver Cortland Sutton, like I mentioned, caught the game-winning touchdown, 4 catches, 66 yards, touchdown on 5 targets. And defensively, let me go with the bottom guy there. Vikings backer Danielle Hunter, 3 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. But yeah, Alex Singleton, like I said, it's crazy. These linebackers across the league having crazy.
They're everywhere, man. They're faster than ever. They're bigger than ever. Like, they can cover wide receivers and tight ends and running backs on pass plays now.
I was really pissed when he left Philadelphia. 16 tackles, 11 solos, and a QB hit for Singleton. Because we brought him out of nowhere. 2-time Grey Cup champ in the CFL. The Eagles signed him. He had an excellent couple years in Philadelphia. Vikings plus 2.5 did cover, under 42.5.
At least I got my dogs pick. I'll take it.
You got 1 win.
Hey-oh.
Go Birds!
Go Birds.
Big win in the Super Bowl 57 rematch, 21-17 over the Chiefs. Shut out Patrick Mahomes in the second half.
Isn't this the third week in a row where the Chiefs have been shut out in the second half? Chiefs offense.
I think so. I don't know.
Matt Mackey masterclass.
But yet they are the worst second half offense in the league. They came into the game averaging 5.9 points per game in the second half.
Yeah.
They averaged 17.6 in the first half, which is, I think, like second in the NFL or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But yeah, I mean, you have to give it up to Sean Desai, the defensive coordinator for Philadelphia, making the adjustments, and Brian Johnson, the offensive coordinator, and Nick Sirianni, head coach, for making the adjustments offensively as well, because the Chiefs were absolutely eating in the backfield most of the first half, and they really shored up the protection. And I think Jalen also did a lot better job of running, scrambling before the pressure got there.
Yeah, it definitely felt in the first half he would like scramble and like get to the line of scrimmage, but still look the pass. I think in the second half they're like, hey, like you got a couple yards, just take them. Like,
yeah, but there was one where he took a sack by Chris Jones in the first half, and I was like, bro, run! Like the seas parted. And I was like, go.
You got at least 4 yards. I mean, I get it. You don't want just 4 yards. You want a first down. But listen, just 2nd and 6 looks a lot better than like 2nd and 12.
Yeah. So yeah, this was
rainy game.
I mean, the Eagles win. Like that's what they do. And Jalen Hurts has now won 13 straight regular season games against teams with winning records. Damn. He continues to be, I mean, the best quarterback. 22 or what is it, like 23 and 22 in his last 45 games? Like, bro, come on. Or 24. Yeah, 24 and 2 in his last 26 games.
That's a team stat. Come on. Yeah, you look at the stat line here, and I'm not super impressed. I think objectively they're better QBs.
They win.
I think Jalen Hurts is great in what the Eagles do. He's the best QB for what Nick Sirianni wants, but I don't think he's the best QB.
The ball to Devontae? Come on.
It was a good pass. I'm not denying he's a good QB. He is. He's easy top 10.
He's a winner.
I don't know.
That's what he does. He wins.
The Eagles win. Eagles had a great game. I'll say it. Eagles had a great game. I don't think Hurts had a great game. I think he had an all right game.
Well, they also killed the Chiefs. That middle screen play that they have with DeAndre Swift,
great play.
Crushed the Chiefs twice. Third time they should have had it. DeAndre didn't read the block by Landon Dickerson. Either one of two things. I blamed it on Dickerson when I watched it originally. I was like, bro, block him. Like, block Drew Tranquil. But, you could see the argument of DeAndre not reading the block right and going inside Landon Dickerson instead of going outside where Drew Tranquil made the play and got around. But, yeah, he had a lot of room, like they were saying on the broadcast. If he would have got by Tranquil, I mean, there was a lot of room. Anyways, Mahomes, 24 of 43, 55.8%, 177, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 6 carries, 38 yards. Jalen Hurts, 14 to 22, 63.6%, 150, 1 pick, 12 carries, 29 yards, 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco in this one, 19 carries, 89 yards, leading the game in rushing, 2-yard reception as well. Eagles wide receiver Devontae Smith, 1 yard short of 100, 6 for 99 on 8 targets. Justin Watson, the leading target getter for the Chiefs, 5 catches, 53 yards, touchdown on 11 targets. And I know Chiefs fans and a lot of other people are like, bro, get Mahomes some help.
Marquez Valdez.
These receivers
Right there. What do you think was a worse drop? The Quentin Johnson drop or MVS's drop? Because those are just egregious.
MVS, because they would have had the lead.
Oh, yeah, he would have fallen. I almost want to give it to Quentin because at least MVS has the excuse of rain, and it was kind of crappy weather. Maybe it was wet. But, like, man, they were both awful. Like, those are – I love – here's the thing. I love when you go on Twitter and people are like, man, that's a shitty drop. And everyone's like, oh, but you're not an NFL player. It's like, listen, if I go to a restaurant and they serve me shitty food and I say it's shitty, you don't get to tell me, well, why didn't you cook it? It's still shitty.
You're not a food
tell
critic.
Me that it's not awful. It's the same exact thing. It's like, hey, he should have made that catch. Well, I don't see you making that catch. Shut up. He should have made the catch. Don't start this crap. Oh, you've never played football. I know, but I know what a catchable football looks like.
I can't make that catch because I'm almost 30 years old and I'm 5'6".
You know who should have made that catch? Valdez Scantling, because he has the ability to do that. It's right in the breadbasket. Everyone would agree it's a great throw.
But outside of MVS, Justin Watson had one of the shittiest games I've seen in a while. I mean, this guy, like I said, leading target guy on the night, 11. Leading receiver for the Chiefs as well, 53 yards. But, I mean, he dropped 2 that went right through his hands. And then they had a punt that would have pinned the Eagles at the inside their 5-yard line. Tommy Townsend dropped it, and it hit at the 1 or 2. Justin Watson was there. He was at the pylon.
He was looking out.
He didn't see it. He didn't see it.
Out of bounds. Dude is at the corner, and he's like, look to the field. Look to the rest of the field.
Yeah. I mean, that was a key play. It got the Eagles some breathing room at the 20. But, yeah, otherwise here, Kelsey dropped the ball as well. It was outside. I have to give him that. But Taylor wasn't there, so he had a shitty game, you know. That's on her. That's on her. That is on Miss Swift.
Should have been there. I thought Karma was a guy on the Chiefs. You gotta be there for your Karma.
2 defensive players of the game here, both on Kansas City. Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones, 5 tackles, all of them solos, 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. Trent McDuffie, the corner for Kansas City, killed the Eagles in the first half. That slot blitz, I don't understand why they couldn't block it, but they couldn't. And then second half, they figured it out. But 4 tackles, all of them solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection, 1 QB hit. Also, I'll add in a forced fumble because he did have one on Jalen Hurts. Eagles plus 2.5 win outright under 45.5.
News.
Oh.
Well, I just saw a victory for me, so you better go back.
Skipping all the news.
Get back to my win.
College football. We have a firing. Syracuse. They have an opening. They have fired head coach Dino Babers after 8 seasons. I would say I'm available, but I don't really want to go to Syracuse. Penn State. I mentioned this. Quarterback Drew Aller expected to play this week against Michigan State. Good to have him back. Transfer portal. 2 quarterbacks in it. Texas Tech quarterback Tyler Schuff, and he's been a starter at Oregon and Texas Tech. Has pretty good stats at both places. Holy Cross quarterback Matthew Sluka could make the jump to FBS this coming year. Not sure if he's going to enter the draft or not. It's a fluid situation at this point, but he has entered the transfer portal. Senior Bowl invites that have been accepted. UNC linebacker Cedric Gray, excellent player. Really excited for Arizona wide receiver Jacob Cowing. Florida wide receiver Ricky Pearsall. Missouri defensive back Chris Abrams-Drain. He, for a couple weeks there, he had a pick every Missouri game that we did. Texas defensive lineman Tavondre Sweat. He looks like a Philadelphia Eagle. That's all I'm going to say.
Need more sweat in that team.
Missouri defensive lineman Darius Robinson. I would also accept him on Philadelphia. And then South Carolina quarterback Spencer Rattler. There's a quarterback for the Vikings. There you go.
I thought you want him. You look good on the Eagles.
We don't have any quarterback openings in any of my teams. Sorry. USFL news: the Stallions, they have re-signed tight end Jay Sternberger. I mean, bro, this team is gonna win 3 straight USFL championships because they literally brought almost every single player back. And they've added to the team as well, which is crazy. Or I guess they'll win 2 straight USFL and then whatever we call the league in the spring.
USXFL?
No. National Spring Football League. That's what I like.
That's pretty solid.
NFL news. The league sources believe the Jets will make another run at Raiders wide receiver Devontae Adams this offseason, continuing the effort to try to reunite him with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, this definitely screams we really want to re-sign Rodgers. Is Rodgers signed through next year?
Yeah.
Or is it? He is. Okay, so it's definitely one of those, hey, we don't have weapons. Let's get Rodgers' favorite.
I believe he's signed through 25.
Yeah, it's definitely going to take a first-round pick to get him.
Yeah. So Jets don't continue to lose because you don't want to give up a high pick. The Falcons head coach Arthur Smith going back to Desmond Ridder, and this is for the good. This is for the rest of the season, not just this week.
So yeah, NFC South is now between the Saints and the Bucks because holy crap, Arthur Smith has never seen a bad choice he's never loved.
You know what? I'm kind of mad at it because I just traded away Jonnu Smith. But at the same time, we'll see. Ridder likes Jonnu, but I don't know. Congrats to Fox analyst and Cowboys head coach Jimmy Johnson. Finally repaired the relationship with Jerry Jones enough, and he will be inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor on December 30th against the Lions.
Yeah, I think Jerry Jones was visited by 3 spirits in his sleep and went, holy shit, I should probably celebrate the guy that made me relevant.
Yes, 3 Super Bowl wins for Jimmy Johnson there in Dallas. 2.
Switzer won the 3rd.
Whatever. No one cares about Switzer.
It was Jimmy Johnson's team anyway.
Yeah. Browns are going to start rookie quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson once again this week, despite the signing of the Super Bowl MVP that we'll talk about. The Jets have benched Zach Wilson. It will be Tim Boyle going forward for New York. He's going to try to hold it down while Aaron tries to get back.
Not only that, they moved Zach Wilson to 3rd string. They put Trevor Siemian above him.
Yeah, they just signed.
Is this the end of the Wilson experiment?
They just signed Trevor Siemian to the active roster.
Yeah.
What is happening there? Just got an interesting tweet, but we'll see. Okay. Your favorite player in the whole entire league.
Oh, wide world. I love this guy.
Broncos safety Kareem Jackson has been suspended for the next 4 games for repeated violations of playing rules intended to protect the health and safety of the players. He just returned this week from his 2-game suspension for the same offense. He is appealing. Last time he appealed, he got his 3-game suspension reduced to 2.
Just so he can come back to the Vikings and fuck us over.
So we'll see.
I doubt he succeeds. I mean, the point of appealing is like, hey, I won't do it again. And then the first game back, he does it again. I'd like to see his argument here. And again, just to go back, hey, he gets suspended for 4 games on a play that you didn't throw a penalty on, refs. What are you doing? Are you going to answer to this? Of course not.
No. Nope. You got to read the pool report.
Oh. Yeah, we didn't notice it. We didn't notice it in the play. We didn't know that
there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough evidence live.
Wasn't enough evidence live. It's not like we have like a booth referee that could say like, hey, he fucking led with his helmet.
You can't call that. You can't review that. It's not
That's absolute horseshit. I think there should be
not a reviewable play. Penalties are not reviewable.
I think there should be a ref in the ear that has a bird's eye view that can get into the ear of the refs and be like, hey, you need to throw a penalty on this player. Like, it's very clear. Like, don't have it for like holdings and stuff, but like stuff like unsportsmanlike conduct or dangerous plays like that, you should have a guy in the ear be like, hey, this player did something extremely dangerous.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rappaport, for making that more clear on what just happened in the NFL, which we'll get to.
I just saw it.
Let's see, Thanksgiving halftime shows. We have entertainment going.
We love it.
For those people that don't care about football and just want to watch music. For the Packers-Lions game, it will be Mr. Jack Harlow, which I think is the best of the three performances, just saying.
Nah, it's the second one.
Commanders-Cowboys game, it will be Miss Dolly Parton.
Woo! My queen!
Working 9 to 5 like she always does.
9 to 5.
And then for the Niners-Seahawks night game, it will be Steve Aoki. There you go.
All right. That's going to be probably the most exciting one.
Last general thing, the Steelers have finally fired head offensive coordinator Matt Canada today. Running backs coach Eddie Faulkner will be the interim offensive coordinator, and quarterbacks coach Mike Sullivan will be calling the plays. Not the Penguins head coach Mike Sullivan, by the way. People, he does not work for both teams.
I think he could pull double duty.
He has enough shit going on at the Penguins right now. Freaking 500, 8-8. Good Lord, it's not very good. But yeah, so we'll see.
You know how many offensive games that Matt Canada has coordinated to 400 yards?
Zero.
I'm sorry, you don't get one in a year and a half of a job. Like, get out.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Like, a bad offensive coordinator could luck into it. Well, like, that's abysmal.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of crazy. I don't really know where they're going to go from here. It is also crazy. This is the first time the Steelers have fired a head coach or a coordinator in season since 1941.
Damn.
They just don't do that. Their organizational philosophy. And that firing in 1941 was half owner Burt Bell fired himself as head coach. Good old Burt Bell. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully the change reflects on Kenny Pickett. Now they got another divisional game coming up this weekend in Cincinnati. Luckily, they don't want to face Joe Burrow, but that's on the defensive side. Offense, I mean, the Bengals aren't a slouch on defense either. So, and see if they can block Trey Hendrickson or not. For the Steelers, also, before the game they placed safety Keanu Neal on IR. The Packers getting some help back. They designated safety Darnell Savage to return from practice. Or to practice. Injury-wise, a whole bunch of them. Bad news for 49ers safety Talanoa Hufanga. He has torn his ACL. He is out for the year.
He tore his ACL getting his ankles broken. That is just insult to injury.
Playmaking safety there for San Fran. Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker III. He has a serious oblique strain, as head coach Pete Carroll termed it. We'll see if he can play on Thursday night or not. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp. He has a low ankle sprain. He is day-to-day. Commanders defensive end Efe Obada. He is out for the season. He had surgery, multiple lower leg fractures for him. Actually, I didn't actually see a tweet that said he was out for the season. I just assumed.
You get surgery for multiple leg injuries, I would probably count you out. So that already thin defensive line just gets way thinner.
It's okay. They got some young guns. My guy Casey Toohill, former 6th rounder out of Stanford.
They could claim that guy that just got released.
He's an off-ball though. He doesn't rush the passer.
That's true.
Jets offensive tackle Mekhi Becton. He has a high ankle sprain. What do you know?
What do you know?
More tackle.
Already bad offensive line somehow gets worse.
They played their 13th, I believe. It was, I can't remember if it was 13 or 15. I think it was 13. They played their 13th offensive lineman this past weekend.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where I look at it, it's like, yeah, Zach Wilson's bad, but there's no way you don't look at that offensive line as not a contributing factor.
They haven't started the same 5 all season, I believe.
That reminds me of the early 2010s Vikings. Oh, man, that offensive line was bad. I don't know how Adrian Peterson won an MVP with that line.
They should have broke the record.
Dude, if only. 9 yards what?
Dolphins rookie running back Devon Chan's ankle injury, not considered serious, which I'm so excited to hear because I need him in fantasy badly. Not sure if he'll play on Black Friday though. Sucks that their game's on Friday because I feel like if it was a Sunday game, he might have a better chance. But Mike McDaniel said he could play and he could not play. He could not play, but he could play.
It's definitely that feeling though. It's like, oh, you're playing the Jets. You could rest them.
Yeah, it's a tough game. Tough defense to run against.
Yeah.
Saints quarterback Derek Carr, he is still in concussion protocol, so it remains to be seen if he will be back for their interdivision matchup against the Falcons. It's kind of crazy that he's still in concussion protocol. They're coming off the bye. Yeah,
guess who has Joe Burrow and Derek Carr on his fantasy team?
Better pick up Jameis.
Famous Jameis. I'm gonna see who's available right now, and we're gonna make a decision.
While you do that, let's talk about Ravens tight end Mark Andrews ankle injury. Head coach John Harbaugh said he does have a chance to return this year. That is if the Ravens go far enough in the playoffs. Not sure exactly what that means. Do they have to make the divisional round? Do they have to make the championship, Super Bowl? Not sure exactly, but I would assume that they're going to have to at least make the divisional round in order to get Andrews a chance. I didn't even hear exactly what the injury is. I just know it's an ankle injury. So no clue what would keep you out that long and still be able to come back.
All right, I got some choices. I need your help on this because I've limited.
Talk about your receiver first.
I'm not too worried about it. I kind of saw this.
We're already at 2.5 hours. What do you got?
Let's see. I got Desmond Ridder, Garoppolo, Tommy DeVito, Aiden O'Connell, Jake Browning, Jameis Winston, or DTR. I'm thinking Ridder. I think Ridder might be my best choice. To me, it's either Ridder or Winston. Those are my two choices.
Yeah, I'd play Winston.
Winston? All right, I'll go with Winston.
Because DTR is playing the Broncos, Aiden O'Connell's playing the Chiefs, and Ridder's playing the Saints. I trust Winston against Falcons D versus Ridder against the Saints D.
All right. I've put in the waiver request.
Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson, hamstring injury, unlikely to return until after their bye week, so he could be back week 14. Why would he even come back?
Yeah, it is the Bears. I'm not overly concerned. I think it's one of those things that are like if you still lose the Bears, I don't think Justin Jefferson on a hobbled hamstring would really make too much of a difference. Plus, you have the bye week after.
I guess it does make more sense now that the Vikings are in the 7th seed.
But
versus what we talked about earlier in the season when they were down and
seemingly out.
He got hurt, and they're like, well, why would he even come back? He doesn't have a contract next year. Why would he risk injury to come back for a team that's not in the playoffs? But now it would make more sense.
Yeah. And I think he does also – I don't think this is his complete last year of the contract. I think he's still under team control for another 2 years.
No. He's a free agent.
Hold on.
He's drafted in 2018. This is his fifth-year option.
28? No, he was drafted in 2020.
What?
Yeah, he was drafted during COVID. Do you not remember?
Whatever. Still.
All right.
They have his fifth-year option next year. That's it.
Yeah, fifth-year option, I think, is what you...
Seahawks quarterback Geno Smith, tricep elbow injury. May play Thursday. Still not sure yet. Hopefully he does. Otherwise, I got to switch my pick. Chargers defensive end Joey Bosa. He has a foot sprain, likely to go on IR. Man just cannot stay healthy.
Can't catch a break.
Releases. The Giants. They waived running back Deion Jackson. And the big one that just happened. The Colts have released former All-Pro and Pro Bowl linebacker Shaquille Leonard. Just a staple of the Colts defense for years. One of the highest paid linebackers in the league. Colts still owe him $6.1 million, I think is what that tweet said.
Mm-hmm. But if you do claim him, any team that claims him, he's still under contract through 26. So you'd owe him 16.1 next year, 19 in 25, and 19.6 in 26.
Yeah, there's no way that anyone's going to claim him.
No, absolutely not. That's a lot of money that not a lot of teams that would want him can spend.
Yeah, I mean, his play has really just dropped off ever since the neck injury from last season. And then he's had knee injuries. He just really has not been the same for a couple years now. So, shame, but hopefully he can help someone down the stretch here. I know a team that needs linebackers that wears black and gold. So, yeah, please, Shaquille.
Save us.
We need inside linebackers badly in Pittsburgh. No, I'm not saying Landon Roberts. He can play everywhere. He can,
Miles Jack.
He can play everywhere. But actually, all three of my teams need linebacker help.
Yeah.
Signings. The Packers, they signed their former running back Patrick Taylor off the Patriots practice squad with the running back injuries that they have with Aaron Jones and Emmanuel Wilson both hurt in the last game. And they also signed running back James Robinson, Giants running back James Robinson, to their practice squad. The Browns, they have signed Jets quarterback Joe Flacco to the practice squad. There you go. Steelers signed linebacker Miles Jack to their practice squad, unretiring for like the millionth time. I mean,
he's like Brett Favre.
Dude,
linebacker.
And the Texans, they signed former corner Desmond King II to their practice squad as well. XFL to NFL, the Bengals, they assigned Renegades quarterback Drew Plitt to their practice squad, getting another quarterback option behind Jake Browning there. All right. Thursday pick standings. It's going to get interesting after this week because we got a big slate.
We do.
It always is big. It's always a big slate during Thanksgiving, and now we add in the Black Friday game. And we usually don't pick college on the Tuesday show, but I decided that we're going to pick the Egg Bowl this year.
It's a great game.
But yeah, you, sir, have taken the lead back from Logan as he lone wolfed the Bengals. To his credit, he thought Joe Burrow was going to play the whole game. But yeah, I am now in second, tied for second with Logan at 6-5, just one game back of you.
Woo!
So, here we go. The Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving. Number 13, Ole Miss. Now, obviously, we don't know what ranking they're going to be tonight, but They are still 13th until they're not. 11.5-point favorites at Mississippi State. Mississippi State playing with a interim head coach after Zach Arnett was fired last week. Yeah. Mississippi State covers. Ole Miss wins the game, though. It's a rivalry game. What did we talk about? Double-digit home dogs. And Mississippi State still has Will Rogers at quarterback, so he's a prolific passer. And should be a high-scoring game. I like the over 55.5. Think Lane Kiffin gets it done though. 7:30 on ESPN Thanksgiving night, and I have to dual screen it with the Thursday night game.
Nah, I think I'll just watch the game. Whoa, is that a lone wolf for me?
Thanksgiving Packers at the Lions, 7.5 points at home for Detroit, and you are lone wolfing Logan's team.
The exact of last time the Lions and Packers play, because I lone wolf the Lions, y'all picked the Packers, so I got to do a little switcheroo on you boys. I think for me, this pick, I really liked how Jordan Love played this last game against the Chargers, and I was really not impressed with the Lions against the Bears. I mean, they pulled off a win because it's the Bears. They're like the Three Stooges of football. They somehow just pull a loss out of their ass every single time they get a chance. So I like the Packers taking this momentum against the Chargers and going into the Ford Field and spoiling Thanksgiving.
You know, the Packers have beaten the Lions for so long, especially on Thanksgiving.
It's hard to pick against.
It's time, the Lions, it's time to stand up to Big Brother. Aaron Rodgers isn't there anymore. They got this young kid that doesn't know what he's doing. And the Lions defense, I think, is going to stand up. Aiden Hutchinson is going to create some havoc, and the Lions are going to win this game and cover, by the way. They're going to cover.
Right.
Total's 47.5. I like the under. 12:30 on Fox. Commanders at the Cowboys. Dallas getting 11 at home. Yeah, they'll cover that. I believe, at home, they average winning by like 20 points or something like that. So, like, they should absolutely demolish the Commanders.
I expect about double-digit sacks out of the Cowboys in this game.
Yeah, they're gonna pick Sam Howell off. Maybe this is a good chance for Deron Bland to break the record here.
Could be
6, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't get easier coming off a loss to the Giants for Washington. So, unfortunately, Dallas is gonna win this game. 48.5. This is total here. I like the over. 4:30 on CBS. And then
I did not expect 2 lone wolves today.
The Thursday night game. Again, I'm flipping if Gino doesn't play. If Gino doesn't play, I'm going Niners.
All right, that's fair.
But yeah, 49ers 7-point favorites at the Seahawks. My rationale is, bro, it's Lumen Field is a tough place to play. And this was a gut pick. I feel like the Seahawks are going to win this one.
I guess you could say it's a vibe pick.
The 49ers have troubles going into Seattle.
They do. Seattle has been historically a pretty tough place to play for San Fran. I made this pick under the belief that not only, even if Geno plays, I think he's not going to be at 100%. And their offense just wasn't really good against the Rams. So that's just kind of how I'm feeling.
Yeah. I mean, it would be totally – I mean, the way both these teams are going, San Francisco should win this game. But again, I'm going with the home field and just something about Seattle on Thanksgiving night. I don't know.
I respect. Do you think they're going to wear like the color rush, or are they going throwback? Ooh, they go throwback on Thanksgiving.
The green? I don't know.
I think I'd rather see that throwback, that sleek blue. Thanksgiving night. Come on, Seattle, make it happen.
Well, if they do it, the Niners got to wear theirs then.
Ooh, you're right. A little throwback action on Thanksgiving. Throwback. That would get you a lot of eyes in the night game, because a lot of people for the night game in Thanksgiving are kind of tired, kind of worn out. Give them something to look at.
The what's it called sets in?
What was it, like turkey coma or something?
No, there's the scientific word. The scientific word.
Yeah, the smart guy word.
I don't know. I'm trying to look it up. After eating turkey, look, see, it already. I don't know. This says tryptophan. I don't think that's the word I was looking for.
Nah, let's just call it turkey coma and call it a day.
That's what it says. That's what it says. That is what the internets say.
And the internet's never wrong.
Anyways, 43.5 for this one. I like the under. 820 NBC. Black Friday. Get your shopping done and then come back in the afternoon and watch this game because it's at a weird time. It's before our show, so again, hopefully it is.
Maybe we'll be watching the end of it, as we're.
Well, I'm gonna have to figure out an email to get another Prime Video free trial. Because I don't have it. My roommate has it, so that's why I can watch it here, but I can't watch it at home. Where I'll be. But yeah, the Dolphins 7-point favorites at the Jets. Tim Boyle, new starter in New York. Dolphins coming off a rough game with 2 turnovers. The Dolphins offense overall had 3. Not playing against an easier defense, but I think they'll squeak one out. Maybe the Jets cover. I'm not banking on the Jets covering, but
you're not banking on a Tim Boyle legacy game?
No. I do hope, though, that I was surprised Breece Hall had such a good game just because he had 5 catches for 50 yards, which was 10 points right there, but struggled running the ball otherwise. I do hope for Breece Hall's sake that Tim Boyle can open up the passing game a little bit and move the second level of the defense back a little bit so Breece can actually have some room to run. But that's the only Jet I'm rooting for in this game. Otherwise, I got all Dolphins, Tua, Tyreek, and A-Chain if he plays. 40.5 is the total. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Either Dolphins are getting that by themselves or we're getting an under.
I can see both ways. I think I'm going to roll with the under.
Yeah, I'm thinking Dolphins will probably just take the foot off the gas in the third quarter when it's like 30-3.
No, it's not going to be that bad. 23-14 Dolphins.
Really? All right. I respect it.
37 there.
At least competitive.
3 p.m. Prime Video.
It's going to be an interesting one.
Next week, we'll be back. That's supposed to say NFL Week 13.
But 13's an unlucky number, so we don't mess with it.
But yeah, we'll be back talking all the game recaps and game previews. It'll be like a 4-hour show next week because we have 51 college football games on the slate.
Holy crap! I don't think I'm gonna be able to do the whole show. We'll get halfway through college football. Like, I need to get out of here. I gotta spend time with family.
But yeah, I will be on the whole show anyways on Black Friday, because I don't shop like that. So, but yeah, we'll be talking
college football, NFL game recast, game preview the Week 13 opener, Seahawks at the Cowboys. Both Thanksgiving teams there. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and X at FAA_bets on X as well. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, and X, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, etc.
You know,
and
it's real.
TikTok at Football Addicts Anon. Thank y'all for watching. Sorry for the long show, but happy Thanksgiving, y'all. We'll see y'all back on Black Friday.